don't think my pumpkin's on bright enough. Come on, little buddy. It's the 11th time we're doing this. You have at least the whole rest of the month to go. Come on, you can do it. Alright, you're gonna give me attitude like that, I just won't deal with you anymore. Wild Viewer, and welcome to night 11 of 31 Wild Halloween Review Nights. I'm really getting into the Halloween spirit here. If you haven't been aware, I'm not actually filming these in October. It's currently the middle of September right now. Obviously, I have to film these in advance so I can get them out on time because they need to be edited. It does take a lot of work to put these together. But I'm really getting into the Halloween spirit. I mean, fall officially starts this week. I'm pretty excited for it. I've already started seeing some Halloween commercials. Watching these films are really getting me into the Halloween spirit. I'm ready! Yay! Trick or treat! I still don't know what I'm being for Halloween though. So we're talking about the Addams Family. Now if you missed yesterday's video, the Addams Family is a popular cartoon that was later turned into a TV show in the 1960s. It's about this family, the Addams, whose world is basically turned upside down because of the way that they live their life. They think death is good, they love pain, they're morbid and psychedelic, and I love it. We talked about the 1991 Addams Family film, which is kind of become a classic, but not just with me, but with a lot of other people. I know a good number of my friends really enjoyed this film. Today we're going to talk about the sequel, which in my opinion is probably the best sequel to ever come out of a movie series. Or in this case, a film series that only has 2 movies. Is it technically called a film series if you only have 2 films? Because they didn't do a third one with these guys. Or at least that set of actors. Maybe that's something I should look up. Anyway, this is Addams Family Values. Released in 1993, the Addams welcome a newborn son into their family. Seeing that Pugsley and Wednesday seem to have a grudge over the newborn child and can't be trusted, a woman named Debbie is hired to be the child's nanny. Debbie, while can be mistaken to be sweet and a lovable nanny, exactly what the Addams despise in a nanny, she is actually a gold-digging black widow who marries men for their money and then kills them. When she starts to fall for Uncle Fester and his money, it appears that Fester may be the next victim to fall into her trap. What did I say earlier about sequels? Because that's what sequels need to include now. When you do a sequel off of a film, you gotta include a baby. Yesterday, when I talked about the first movie, it ended with Uncle Fester and the kids and some woman who's now married to Cousin It. They were playing a game called Wake the Dead, and it took place on Halloween. So the movie actually ended on Halloween night. But that isn't where it ended officially. It really ended with Morticia telling Gomez that she's pregnant, or at least hinting that she's pregnant, because of the little sweater that she knit at the end of the first one, which had a disturbing number of legs. Now, I didn't say that in the end of yesterday's video, because I didn't say it. I forgot to say it. That whole plot does take a big chunk of the film. Actually, there's a number of different plots in this film. I want to say this has about 3 different plots overall. So you have the plot of the baby, you have the plot of Debbie and Fester, or Debbie's whole subplot, and you have what is probably my favorite bit in the film, Pugsley and Wednesday going to camp, which I think we can all agree is the best thing ever. We will touch upon them in each of their individual subjects. Let's start with the child first. The child they got for this is absolutely adorable. He's got a little mustache like his dad. I love the beginning scene though. I love how crazy it's supposed to be, but just how calm everybody is. Morticia's just sitting there, she's like, he's coming. Everybody's rushing, and she's fine in the bed. It's like, it's nothing for her. But Gomez is just like, oh, this is amazing. We're gonna have a son. It's like everybody's just so calm about it. And then in the waiting room, you have the rest of the family And there's this little girl, and she's explaining where her parents told her babies come from, and Pugsley's like, oh yeah, our parents are having a baby too. And it zooms into Wednesday, she's like, they had sex. Just like straight up say the actual logic. What follows after that is a series of scenes that involve Wednesday and Pugsley interacting with the child, which are also pretty funny. They play a game with the baby where they're gonna like execute him and chop his head off. And Morticia at one point, she's like, kids, what are you doing in there? And they're like, oh, we're playing. And it's fine. I'm realizing now that one of the things that I did not talk about in the first one, which I will mention in this one, is the character Thing, which is their hand character. It's pretty cool the way that they have the hand moving. I know most of it is probably animated. The other times it's obviously probably just an actual hand inserted into the scene. I like Thing. Thing is cool. I think it's a cool thing. After the first maybe 10 minutes of the film, it really isn't focused that much on the baby anymore. In fact, we actually kind of forget about the baby for a big chunk of the film. He does pop up, obviously, in the film. He's being taken care of. At one point we see that he's kind of colorful-ish, and that's just because of everything going around the family due to the events that happen with Debbie and Fester. The baby ends up saving the day at the end, which is pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, that's all I gotta say about the baby. That's all I gotta say about the infant in the movie. The whole Debbie subplot, that's a pretty interesting concept to do. What is it with this film not only revolving around a character who wants money from this family, but also has Uncle Fester play a huge role in this film again? I brought this up a few different times when talking about this film with somebody. But this is the second movie that essentially revolves around Uncle Fester. He was a big part in the first movie because of the whole amnesia thing that was going on with him. How he thought he was somebody's son and then pretended to be Uncle Fester only to reveal, oh yeah, he is actually Uncle Fester. With this one, he falls in love with Debbie. He gets married. They end up living together, and Debbie tries to murder Fester multiple times. That's another thing I got a question about with this family. Fester goes through an explosion in the house. How does he not die? Are the Addams family just immortal? And if that's the case, why did everyone else in their family die? Why is there a graveyard in their yard of all their family members who have since passed? I said before, they're not monsters, they're just really messed up people. Is that why they love it so much? Are the Addams family just a group of people that discovered they can't die, and if they do die, it has to be in a certain way? I'm thinking a lot into this. I found those scenes pretty interesting, especially the fact that it does kind of revolve around similar things we saw in the first film. But this is what makes this film really unique and why it's probably one of my favorite sequels. Yes, it extended the family, it brought a baby into the film, but we don't focus on the baby. The baby starts off the story into the chain of events that eventually end up becoming the movie. The film brings a lot of funny jokes, it's very entertaining to watch, and I want to talk about the camp scenes now because I really like them. I love the camp scenes in this film. I want to be at that camp with these characters. I want to be friends with them. Putting Pugsley and Wednesday, especially Wednesday, in a camp where with all these other normal and preppy people, it's just so good. They cut back and forth to these scenes multiple times, and in every scene there is a joke that I personally do not ever get tired of. There's a young girl named Amanda in this film, and oddly enough, the actress who plays Amanda in this film, she was actually in the first movie. She played a Girl Scout. She had a quick cameo. I love how cringy and like stuck up all these characters are, like everybody else in this camp. It's definitely another one of those whole popularity situations because there are a number of loser kids that are shown in these camp scenes. And this character Amanda, she's bringing so much onto the table with these counselors, and like they're becoming. First off, the woman who plays Leonard's mother from The Big Bang Theory, I don't know her name. She's one of the camp counselors. I know the other camp counselor. I know his face, I just don't know his name on the top of my head, but I've seen both of them. It's really weird to see the woman who plays Leonard's mother being happy. If you've ever seen The Big Bang Theory, you'll understand why. There's a scene with Amanda. They're doing swimming lessons. They jump into the lake and they have buddies. So you jump into the lake and then somebody else saves them. So Amanda wants to be an actress, so she's like, I'll play the part of the person drowning. And Wednesday is her partner. So she jumps into the pond, Amanda. She's acting like she's drowning. And we go to Wednesday and she's like, I can't swim. And the girl is just under the water, waiting to be saved. The one thing I really like, and I guess it kind of falls into something else. So what ends up happening with the camp scenes ultimately is there's a big play that the camp's going to put on. It's being coordinated by one of the counselors, and it's about the first Thanksgiving. Very fitting for a film that is associated with the holiday of Halloween. You know, Amanda being the actress in the camp, she gets the lead role, and they give Wednesday a role as Pocahontas. And because she doesn't want to be Pocahontas, Pugsley and this other kid who's been hanging out with the two of them, they get locked in this cabin with a bunch of Disney films, and they're forced to watch all of them. And Jesus on a bike. Wednesday smiling is the creepiest thing ever. So they put the show on, and it's probably the best Thanksgiving play you will ever see in your life. It is hysterical. Pugsley as the big damn turkey dancing is a gif of that, and every year I send it to somebody for Thanksgiving. I love those camp scenes. I absolutely love them. I think they're great. They're my favorite bits of the film, and they are the main reason why I love this film. It is so fun to watch. Other than that, that's all I gotta say about Addams Family Values. I don't think I need to say anything about the actors playing the Addams Family as a whole. I think all of them do an extremely good job. Again, like I said before, they've kind of imprinted themselves to be the Addams Family that I associate with. And yeah, I mean, that's all I gotta say about that. I really like it. Let me know in the comments down there if you've seen either of these Addams Family films. If so, which one did you like? Do you enjoy watching these films? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your disagreements. I'd love a good fight. So with all that said, that brings us to the end of the live-action Addams Family films discussion and the Addams Family films in general. There are no other Addams Family films that I'm going to talk about. There's no other films about the Addams Family that I'm going to talk about for this series. I'm not going to talk about any other film, because there are no more Addams Family movies that I think I should... Oh, alright!